The $1.50 decision that made Costco billions. In 1985, the average home in America cost less than $90,000. A gallon of gas costs about $1.20. A movie ticket cost around $3.50. And at a relatively young warehouse retailer called Costco, customers could buy a quarter-pound all-beef hot dog and soda for $1.50. That was 40 years ago. Since then, the internet was invented. The Soviet Union collapsed. 12 US presidents have served terms in the White House. America experienced multiple recessions, a housing crisis, a global pandemic, and the highest inflation in decades. The cost of nearly everything changed. Housing, healthcare, education, transportation, food, labor, energy. Yet, somehow, one thing refused to move: Costco's hot dog combo. Still $1.50. At first, that sounds like a quirky business fact, but the deeper you dig, the stranger it becomes. Because Costco isn't a charity. It's one of the largest retailers in the world, a company with hundreds of warehouses, hundreds of billions of annual revenue, and millions of paying members. Which raises an obvious question. Why would a company that measures everything refuse to make the most logical decision imaginable? Why not raise the price? Even by 50 cents? Even by $1? Most customers would probably accept it without hesitation. Yet Costco refused. Not once, not twice, for 4 decades. And hidden inside that decision is a lesson about psychology, trust, customer loyalty, and a business strategy that may have generated billions of dollars. Because this isn't really the story of a hot dog, it's the story of a promise. And sometimes, promises become more valuable than profits. Chapter 1: The warehouse that wasn't supposed to win. To understand the hot dog, you first need to understand Costco. The company opened its first warehouse in Seattle on September 15th of 1983, founded by Jim Sinegal and Jeffrey Brotman. The concept seemed simple: sell products in bulk, keep costs low, pass savings to customers. But there was a problem. Most retailers at the time competed by making shopping feel better. Costco competed by making products cheaper. Walk into a Costco warehouse and you will notice something immediately. The concrete floors, the industrial shelving, the giant pallets, the lack of decoration. Everything about the building seems designed to say, we spent as little money as possible on this warehouse. And that's exactly the point. Every dollar not spent on appearances could potentially become a dollar saved somewhere else. The model worked, the first warehouse succeeded, then another, then another. Within a few years, Costco had grown rapidly. By 1985, the company had already gone public. But growth created a new challenge. Customers had to believe the company truly offered value. And belief is harder than pricing, because nobody can memorize thousands of prices. Nobody knows whether every item in a warehouse is the best deal available. Instead, people rely on shortcuts, signals, reference points, symbols, and eventually, Costco accidentally created one of the strongest symbols in retail history: the hot dog. Chapter 2: Inflation declares war. When Costco introduced its hot dog combo in the mid-1980s, nobody expected it to become famous. It was simply affordable food. Quick, convenient, cheap. Customers liked it. Then something unusual happened. Years passed, the price didn't change. More years passed, the price still didn't change. Then inflation arrived and kept arriving. Every year, inflation attacked from a different direction. Beef costs increased, wages increased, transportation increased, utilities increased, packaging increased. Every economic force pointed toward one conclusion: raise the price. If the combo had simply followed inflation since 1985, it would cost roughly around $4.45 today. Think about that. The famous $1.50 combo isn't just inexpensive, it's selling for roughly 1/3 of its inflation-adjusted value. At this point, the mystery becomes impossible to ignore. How can this make any sense? And more importantly, why would Costco keep doing it? Chapter 3. The Threat. Eventually, the pressure became impossible to ignore. Executives reportedly discussed increasing the price. The economics seemed obvious. Costs were rising. Margins were shrinking. Most CEOs would have approved the increase immediately. Instead, Costco lore tells a different story. When the subject came up, CEO Jim Sinegal reportedly responded,
"If you raise the effing hot dog, I will kill you."
Whether the quote was perfectly word for word or not, it's almost irrelevant, because the reason the story survived for decades is that it captured something real. The hot dog had become sacred. Not because of food, not because of profit, because it represented something bigger, a promise. And Costco was willing to defend that promise. But promises don't lower costs. Eventually, the company faced a choice: raise the price or change the system. Most companies would have changed the price. Costco changed the system. Chapter 4. Costco does something crazy. This is the part most people don't know. As costs increased, Costco looks for ways to gain more control over production and supply chains. Instead of simply passing inflation to customers, the company pursued efficiencies throughout its operations and became increasingly involved in producing the hot dogs themselves. Think about how unusual that is. Inflation attacks, most companies charge customers more. Costco responds by redesigning the business. The company wasn't defending a menu item, it was defending trust. And trust was becoming more valuable every year. Chapter 5. The Secret, Hidden in Plain Sight. Up until now, the story still doesn't completely make sense. Why would Costco fight so hard over a hot dog? Then you discover something important. The hot dog was never the business. The membership was. Today, Costco has well over 100 million members globally, and membership fees generate billions of dollars annually. Suddenly, everything changes, because membership businesses operate differently. A traditional retailer wants to maximize profit on each transaction. A membership business wants to maximize trust. The longer customers stay members, the more valuable those customers become. Now look at the hot dog again. It's not lunch, it's not a snack, it's not a profit center. It's a signal, a reminder, a living demonstration of Costco's identity. Every time a member sees that $1.50 price tag, they receive the same message. Costco is still Costco. The promise still exists. The company is still fighting for value. And that message may be worth far more than whatever extra profit a higher price would generate. Chapter 6. The $1 billion story. At this point, you realize something. Costco wasn't protecting a hot dog. It was protecting a story. And stories are incredibly powerful. Nobody tells their friends about markup percentages. Nobody gets excited about supply chain efficiencies. Nobody brags about inventory management. People tell stories, And Costco has one of the greatest stories in modern retail. Hot dog that somehow defeated 40 years of inflation. A company that refused to do what everyone expected. A promise that survived when almost every other promise became more expensive. That story spread itself. Customers shared it. Journalists wrote about it. Analysts discussed it. Videos were made about it. And every time the story spread, Costco received free advertising. But more importantly, it reinforced a simple idea. Costco equals value. And the final reveal, which brings us back to the original question. Why doesn't Costco raise the price? The answer isn't because customers love hot dogs. The answer isn't because Costco can't do the math. The answer isn't because executives enjoy losing money. The answer is because the hot dog was never really the product. The real product was confidence. Confidence that membership is worthwhile. Confidence that prices are fair. Confidence that someone inside the company is still fighting to protect value. For 40 years, a simple hot dog has reminded millions of shoppers of that promise. And perhaps that's the most remarkable part of all. The greatest investment Costco ever made may not have been a warehouse, or a distribution center, or a marketing campaign. It may have been a decision to protect a promise long after it stopped being easy. In the end, Costco didn't keep the hot dog at $1.50 because it was profitable. He kept it at $1.50 because trust was.